morning, Dewey. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you doing today, Lisa?
I'm great. I wanted to say hi to everybody. Welcome you to Tennis Takeaways with Lisa and Dewey. I'm Lisa Stone, creator of Parenting Aces, a website, a platform, a podcast, a social media channel for parents of junior and college tennis players. And my partner in crime.
Is Dewey Evans. I am a tennis evangelist based here in Austin, Texas, doing many things related to tennis, including coaching young players and trying to get the word out and great information to people like you. And thank you for being here. Today we have a couple of guests. And as you all know, we've been going through this strange time with tennis, and tournaments have been making a comeback. And Tennis Match app has been part of making the whole process safe for people with the whole check-in and with their virtual tournament desk. And we have with us twin brothers. You might not know it by looking at them right at the moment, but twin brothers Heath and Matt Waters. Welcome, guys.
Hey, how are you guys? So
And
happy
We're
to be
good.
here.
I wanted to say I met Heath and Matt. Well, I met Heath a long time ago through my son's junior tennis, but the two of them together when Match Tennis app first came on the market, and we've done a couple podcasts together. But it's nice to see you guys in, well, not in person, but to put faces to you. So thanks for joining us today.
Our
Yeah,
pleasure.
I
You've
guess I.
advanced on video now.
Exactly.
We're high tech now, or she's high tech now. Um, uh, well, can
So
you tell us a little bit about what Tennis Match app is for
Match
those
Tennis
that
app,
don't
Dewey.
know? Our
Match
Match
Tennis
Tennis
app.
app.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tennis basically it is a an app and a website. You can do either or. That simply turns hours a month into minutes a month, managing a player's tennis tournament journey. And so it our hope is to go out. We've created an app that is basically it's like the Yahoo portal of tennis world. So you know in Yahoo you've got sports, you've got stocks, you've got entertainment, all in one location, centralized. And in the sport of tennis, we have a 14-year-old that plays, and of course we've been in tennis for many years, and it can be quite challenging to actually manage your entire tennis tournament journey because you have to go to so many different websites to do this and do that to find your rankings, to college stuff, all that. Well, we our objective with the app was to bring it all into one location to manage from 5 years old all the way up to, if you desire, a professional level.
And with COVID, you've really stepped up to this challenge of how do we maintain social distancing? How do we make tennis tournaments safe for those who choose to play? And the two of you have come up with this idea of the virtual tournament desk, which I think is so cool. So maybe Matt, from the technical side, you can kind of walk us through what the virtual tournament desk is, and then Heath maybe talk us through how the tournament directors are using that.
Great.
Yeah, maybe we'll switch that. Heath, maybe you talk it first and give the story behind it, that kind of how we formulated it, and then I'll kind of fill in the technical details there, so everybody kind of gets a vision of it.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually, it was the CEO's idea. My wife Lindsay, who was a former top pro player as well, and she's the one who thought, we had to do something because we're a technology company, and the pandemic hit, and we have our son who was sitting in the house driving us nuts, and then all these kids out there who are trying to really, it's kind of sad because a lot of these kids couldn't play tennis for several months, and they're trying to get college scholarships, and they've worked so hard, and all the tournaments were just canceled. So, right away we saw that this could potentially lead to being out of tennis for a long time, and we needed to make action, and expedient action was our goal to create something. We already had infrastructure in place because we were at that time already, our app was being used for doubles pairing communications with tournament directors, over around 3,000 plus tournaments at that time. And so we wanted to create something that could promote and facilitate social distancing and follow kind of the CDC best guidelines. And so hence we knew that the tournament desk itself was the main bottleneck where people socially gathered. And so we came up with Matt and his team a solution in a matter of just like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that could basically eliminate the tournament desk, physical tournament desk altogether. And how it works in theory, or not in theory, in practice, because it's being used nationwide now, is a player can literally show up in their car. And when they show up, they can check in with their Through Match Tennis App's virtual tournament desk. And when they check in, they actually will receive a court assignment. So say they have an 8 a.m. match, they'll receive a court assignment from the tournament director of what court they're going to go play on. And so they're just sitting in the comfort of their car. They checked in for their 8 o'clock match. They're waiting for what court they're going to go on. They get a text message come right to their phone. They could be out under a tree in the shade stretching or whatever, but away from other people, so they don't have to go up and get in line with 30, 40, 50 other people. Then once they get that message, they click on the link, and that's how they report their score. And that score after the match, they go to the match, play the match, put their phone in their bag, zip it up, turn it off, and then open it up and report their score, and then they go right back to their car. So it's really working well because no one has to get near anyone else if so desired for the entire tournament. And to date, we started our first tournament June 1, and not one player has been reported to contract or transfer the COVID using the virtual tournament desk. So we're really excited about the benefit of it.
That's
And
so
it's been
cool.
fairly
I
well
love it.
adopted at this point in time. I've heard that there are sections within the USTA that have mandated its use because of the safety. Can you tell us a little bit about how it's been received by the community?
Yeah, so we were originally in talk with USTA National, and we tried to get a direct connection with them. We met with them many times, and they worked hard to try to get us a direct connection in order for us to facilitate this, because we had the infrastructure in place. We needed to act quickly, but we couldn't quite get all that we needed. So what we had to do is Matt and his team had to do some programming to do it without direct connection to facilitate this virtual tournament desk. And then what we did is we made a lot of partnerships with a lot of the biggest sections in the United States: SoCal, NorCal, USTA Southern, Eastern, up in the whole Eastern New York area, Florida, all these people. And in most of the United States, the most tournaments are using it throughout the United States. Not all, but the biggest sections are for sure. And a lot of mandating it, really just to keep everybody safe, because if one tournament at this stage, and hopefully eventually we get out of this situation, but one tournament it does get contractions of the COVID, then a lot of people are making livings at running tournaments. A lot of players trying to, like we talked about, get into colleges, and college coaches come out and watch them. We want to keep it alive and going, and so so it's been quite fruitful.
Something else, Heath, you didn't mention there. Something else you didn't mention was the pre-tournament check-in. The whole goal of the virtual tournament desk was to minimize the congregating of people around the tournament desk. And one of those large congregation points are the pre-tournament check-in. You show up, you get your T-shirt, you sign in. So what we did is we took that all and made it all virtual, so that they can from their home or the car or wherever they're at, they just fill out a form online, and then it automatically registers them, does a pre-tournament registration for them. That way, like Heath said, they don't have to congregate at the desk. They don't have to expose the tournament staff or the officials to as many people as possible. So that's been really successful and very very effective.
One of the things I think is so cool about y'all's company is how quickly y'all go from this brilliant idea to actual implementation. And Matt, I don't know if you can speak to what it is about the way y'all are set up that allows you to make these changes and adapt so quickly to changing circumstances. Because even when the app first came out, we were exchanging emails back and forth, and I would say, oh, what if you did this? And the next day, boom, it's there in the app.
Yeah, we created a platform that allows us to do updates kind of in real time, which is unusual for software development. Usually there's a 2, 3 to 6 month development cycle. and you release in versions. But our platform that we developed allows us to make small changes and updates. And so the app is always being updated and refreshed. And, if there's a feature that someone wants, like you said, we usually turn it around in a week or two. If it's a major feature, if it's something small, or if there's a bug, we can fix those quickly. So yeah, it's
smart.
And Heath has lots of ideas. Heath has a new idea every week, so he keeps me on my toes.
Yeah.
And he's got a great team as well there that he leads. And they, when Matt was talking about the COVID, in the VTD, during this whole time, so it's both the parents want to keep their children safe. Really, a lot of these tournament directors and the tournament staff and the volunteers that for the production of a tennis tournament, they're elderly, so they're some of the greatest people. So it's all very helpful for both sides of the fence. Mm-hmm. Hey, there's Match Tennis app.
Hey, look at that.
So,
and I mean, oh, go ahead, Duey.
I've heard a lot so far about USTA. Is this something that's also being used by UTR tournaments, local club tournaments, or is it exclusively tied to the USTA tournament management system?
Well, Matt, I'll answer that first, and you can elaborate. The UTR, we used to have a partnership with UTR, and then the new ownership came in, and our goal is to get back partnership with UTR. We love UTR. We think the idea and the concept is terrific. And to be honest with you, we do have UTR ratings inside of our system. So what happens is our hope is to educate all these new players that start out at the beginning levels on what the UTR is. They get the USTA tennis recruiting. It's all in our system. And so our hope is to really give all of the platforms great exposure, and so people know what they are. We used to have a direct connection. We have done stuff with the UTR prevalently in the past, and we're working towards that now. Matt, if you could elaborate on that.
Yeah. So our platform, the way we have the virtual tournament desk set up, we could do other outside organizations, ITA or UTR, but at the moment we need some kind of, like Keith is referring, that direct data connection. So at some point, once we have that, then we can use it for UTR events. So right now the USTA's, we're doing USTA sanctioned events, unsanctioned events, adults, juniors, mostly juniors, and a few adults, but it's going well, and hopefully UTR in the near future.
So you need access to their API. Is that what it is in order to be able to tie in? And that's the stumbling block at the moment?
Exactly. Okay. We essentially that's a stumbling block. Essentially what the virtual tournament does is it just pulls in the competitors from event and pulls it into our system, and then it pairs them up and do the matches. Set up the matches on the court, like Heath was saying. And so, it's just an API connection that if we had that, we could do it tomorrow.
So I just want to let our viewers know Matt is in Costa Rica, which is why he's a bit choppy. His connection isn't quite as stable as the rest of us being down there. But as you can see, you don't need to feel sorry for him because he's in a beautiful setting down there.
No, though he probably has to watch out for the monkeys hurling their feces at him.
The howler monkeys. Yeah, I woke up to howler monkeys this morning.
There you go. What's next for Match Tennis app? Where are y'all headed with this? I know, at one point, and I haven't been on the app in a while, so forgive me if I'm not up to speed on everything that y'all are offering now, but I remember at one point y'all were talking about partnering with hotel chains, possibly restaurant chains, to bring in discounts for families that are using the app for tournaments. What else is happening with all of that?
Yeah, I can probably answer that first, Matt. The first thing that we're doing is we're taking the virtual tournament desk to hopefully be a new revolutionary way post-pandemic. And so imagine, if you will. So our hope is to enhance the quality of experience for all the tournament production. So you're talking the tournament directors and the participants, coaches, players, parents, all of them. And so we have created, and it's almost complete, a new virtual tournament desk that when, as an example, what it will do is it will pull in for a tournament director all the matches, 8 o'clock all through, 5 p.m., 6 p.m. at night, for the schedule for the entire day per site. And then what it will do is it'll be a communication system as well. So say a player plays at 9:30 a.m. Well, in all the 8 o'clock, say you're at a 30 court facility, all the 8 o'clock matches will be on. And so you're waiting. Typically, the status quo is you don't know when you're going to you play at 9:30, but it could be 10:15. It just depends. It could be 9:20. Just depends on when the courts come available for the second round. And so what this will do is it creates a virtual tournament desk for the players that shows all the courts, and it's going to have a waiting list 1 through 20 as people check in. When courts open up, it'll show you where you are on the list for the next available court. And then once you get into the top 3, as an example of the next available courts, you'll get a text message saying, hey, please, stay close to the tournament site because you are the 3rd court open. And then it will immediately, when your court opens, it will take the people that are waiting and put them into the court automatically as people reporting their score. So these people will be reporting their score right through virtual tournament desk. That court will it'll open that court and put them in the scores, and that will go directly into the tournament software for the USTA or eventually UTR, whoever it might be. And then what will happen is that person who was waiting goes right into that next available court. And here's what's neat. It's all automated. So a tournament director can sit back, drink a pina colada, and just monitor as people check in and come off the court and people put scores. They sit back. Of course, it'd be a virgin pina colada. And then, but it would be a really new and exciting way for the experience of the practitioner or the participants, because people are always asking, how many courts am I down, or where's my friend playing? So it's going to be transparent for them to see where they are on the waiting list for the next available court. They'll be able to see all the courts in progress, the players that are on those courts. So if my friend's playing on court 37 over there, they'll be all the things that we have gone through pain for many years and had to wait in line, 20 people in front of us to ask questions to the tournament directors. We're eliminating all of this, and hopefully it will be a new, exciting, revolutionary way that people will get excited to actually go play tournaments because the experience is so seamless and efficient. And so and you can also, it's drag and drop, you can manual override all this as well, but it'll be,
I love
that's
that.
kind of the
Yeah, I was at a tournament this past weekend where at one point in time, the site that I was at was an hour and a half behind. And that constant to the tournament desk and listening to kids tell their parents, I'm 8 courts down, or they're not even telling me how many, they're just telling me come back and check in half an hour or something like that. Solving that's a pain point, right? And so solving people's problems is what this is all about. And being someone who, you played tennis yourselves, the CEO, your wife Heath, certainly played at, the pinnacle of the game, and now you have a child playing in these events. So you're essentially solving your own problems, which is the best way to help other people, is take a problem you have and figure out, well, is that something that other people have also? And it sounds like you got one that I see all the time. So.
Well, even beyond that, what's so cool is the ability for the tournament to communicate directly with the participant, right? And this has always been a gripe of mine. And when my son was playing, why is the onus on me to continually go back to the website and see if you've posted draws, to see if there's a rain delay, to see, ABC? Why can't the tournament automatically send that information to my phone or email? And that was the first issue y'all solved that made me sit up and take notice, because it was such a sore spot for me as a parent. I just felt like that was such an inefficient way to do business. And y'all have solved that problem, and now taking it even this giant step forward with the tournament desk. I mean, it's an incredible opportunity and development for our sport that I just wanted us to make sure that we share that with our audience, and that people know if you have a kid signing up for a tournament, the first question you need to be asking parents, I'm talking to you parents, is are you using Match Tennis app for this event? And if the answer is no, you need to press the tournament director for that and get them to reach out to Heath and Matt. And it's not a difficult process to get involved with y'all to set up a tournament, right? I mean, it's pretty quick.
Yeah, it's really easy. The tournament director emails us and we set them up. Again, most of the tournaments in the United States are using this because several of the biggest sections have mandated, which they have probably 60+% of the tournaments in the United States. And so, it's all they have to do is email us, and we will set them up and get them where they can facilitate the virtual tournament desk, really to keep people safe, for however long this lasts. But the other thing is, the last time that we had a podcast with you, we didn't have a free basic plan, and now, if you go through the USTA on these tournaments, everybody can sign up for a free basic plan, which really one of our biggest things still is our Match U, our College Connect, and that's a part of the free basic plan. So if there are kids looking for scholarships, we just had a kid this fall. This is just one great example. She was a 7 UTR. And she wanted to get a scholarship or try to, if possible, some type of academic or financial reward for all the years she put into her tennis. She wasn't as academically inclined as she had hoped, but she wanted to do physical therapy. And so she used our app to search all the schools in America, but she wanted to stay in the South. She's from the South, within 2-hour drive. So she was able to find all the schools, connect with the college coaches, went to make her visits. All the correspondence is logged inside of Match U, and she got a scholarship to a school. It was an 85% scholarship, and for her that was huge. And the president came out and took her the tour. And she, in the first week, she got 3 offers from out of the 4 schools. 3 of them offered her a scholarship, and she thought she would never. She didn't think she because of her rating. It wasn't like she was a blue chip on tennis recruiting. She was a 7-something UTR, which is not real high. And there are many scholarship offerings out there. And instead of having to pay $5,000 for a recruiting service, you can get it for free right there inside of Match U or inside of Match Tennis app. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me, tennis is a sport which is very slow to change. It's very traditional, but you've chosen a path which says you're going to bring technology into the game. What was it that made you go from these guys that I met in, I don't know, the mid-90s in Atlanta doing traditional tennis academy type stuff to pushing the envelope and creating this kind of a product?
It's quite simple, pain. And then, I've been coaching for all these years, like you're talking about. In the mid-90s, we had a really big academy back in the day. And then just being and experiencing the tournament journey from the juniors all the way up to the professional levels, we just felt there's ways that we can enhance the quality of experience for everybody involved. I don't know if you remember back in the day on the ATP WTA, they used to print out these faxes literally to see the rankings and to see the tournament calendar and all this stuff. It took like 20 minutes to print out like 50 feet of a fax. It did all this, that fax noise. And it's come a long ways, but we just think it can go further, faster with creative digital experiences. And so our passion, we love technology. We don't want technology to take over, but we feel that if we can give more time back to tournament directors that they can spend with their families, if we can give more time back to the players instead of having to wait in lines and this and that, and back to parents to spend time with their children, making memories instead of doing all the maintenance stuff, we just, like Lisa says, we automate all of that. That you should, as soon as you finish a match, it just pops up when you play next. It comes to you. Oh, you play this person at 2 p.m. Today at whatever site. We feel that you can, innovate and put more time back into people's lives so they can enjoy making memories instead of having to do all the maintenance stuff that weighs us down and makes the experience drudging. And so that we've did that so many years, we said there's got to be a better way. And hence we love innovation.
If people want to get a hold of you, tournament directors, parents, what's the best way to reach out? And Matt, I'll come back to you. Sorry.
Just support at matchtennisapp.com. Or you can reach out to me right there, hwaters@matchtennisapp.com, and we can do that as well. So, and mwaters@matchtennisapp.com is Matt. And so, but we all get that support when we have a pretty big team now, and support at matchtennisapp.com is a collective email that we all receive. And whoever, we have kind of a race, who can answer that the fastest out of our whole company. And so that's our goal. And so pretty cool.
Matt,
I was just going to
cut you
throw in
off.
there just quickly. Just going to throw quickly. I know my little delay on this, but there about the between UTR, USTA, the player, the parents, the tournament directors. We're trying to be the glue to kind of pull it all together, our app. And I think, you know, that's kind of our mission, to kind of be the middleman for all of that data.
Good.
Love it.
What would you like to tell people about it that maybe we haven't touched upon?
I think this app that we are, it's progressive. It's never stopping. So basically, this app was created by the people for the people, and it continues to grow each and every week as we get feedback. We're really fast to implement, and so if you want really to have a life-changing experience. And so just little examples, if you want to see rankings with not just a USTA ranking, state ranking, section ranking, when you look at your USTA rankings, you actually see your UTR, your tennis recruiting, all that kind of stuff. If you want little things, educational stuff, if you don't know when to do what and what to do when on entering your players into tournaments, well, that's a big problem that we have across the United States and world. Parents don't know what tournaments to enter their kids. You can go on our app with our tournament schedule, or you can say, hey, I want to be top 50 in the state of, you know, Georgia or whatever it might be. And then you put a ranking date. So and what happens, so I want to be top 50 in the state by December 31st or next spring, whatever. And it's going to pull in your exact points, how many points you need to average in order to achieve that goal. And then it's going to display all the tournaments that will facilitate you achieving that goal by that time frame. And all you do is you take those little tournaments, and it has a little plus symbol. You can click on it. It tells you how many points they offer. Based on your points, you compare the points, and you push the plus symbol. It adds it to your calendar. And what's cool, when it adds it to your calendar, like, you know, in the past, Lisa, it will send you an entry reminder 3 days before and the day of, to if it's a USTA tournament, UTR tournament, whatever it might be, ITF tournament. And so you don't forget to enter it. But it shows you, some people play the wrong tournaments for 5 or 6 years, and they have higher goals than that. It'll tell you exactly what to do, when, and when to do what in order to obtain that goal realistically in the time frame that you put. So it's an educational tool as well, and it does so much more. There's hundreds of features, but that's a pretty fun one that we enjoy.
That's amazing.
It's amazing.
That's
Yeah, it's awesome. It solves so many problems. I wish to God this had been around when my son was coming up. It would have saved me a lot of headaches. But guys, it's so great to see you, and it's so great to hear an update on what you're doing, and I can't wait to hear what's next on Match Tennis App. The virtual tournament desk is so timely, and congratulations to both of you and your teams for the success that you're having and for the role you're playing in making sure that we can play tennis safely.
Yes, we appreciate your time. And listen, if you guys have any input on how we can help the sport of tennis become better through the use of creative digital technology, please let us know, because we are passionate about doing so.
I'm all in. We're going to have to
Thank you, everyone.
do something else and bring you guys in, because as you just touched upon these other things that the app does, I said there's so much to dig into that could help a player. It's awesome. I appreciate what you guys have done. You have always been, you know, leaders as far as I've seen, and we're not always appreciated because some people don't like things that change, but you've always gone in a direction that has helped everybody that you've been impacting and that has been associated with you. And so I appreciate that you're doing all that you're doing. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you,
We
guys.
appreciate you having us here.
Absolutely. And for our audience, if you have questions, if you have topics you'd like us to address, if you just have a gripe or a comment about what we're doing here at Tennis Takeaways, you can always reach me at lisa@parentingaces.com or dewey@deweyevans@gmail.com. We're here for you. Leave comments on our YouTube channel. Contact us on social media. We're pretty easy to find. And Dewey and I are both pretty quick to respond also. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Dewey, as always, it's a pleasure to see you. And
It has
we've got
been
another
a
great show
pleasure.
coming next week.
Yes, ma'am. And thank you so much, everybody, for taking the time to watch this. Time is the one thing that we can't get back. I heard a quote from Confucius this week, which says that, we have two lives, but our second life begins when we realize that we only have one. My heart attack in May was that moment when I realized that, I only had one. And so I'm living my second life, and I recognize how valuable time is. So thank everyone for sharing your time with us today. And we'll be back next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.